Welcome back, my friends, to the motorbike show that never ends. It's hello from him, and it's hello from Sasha the Himalayan dog. What are we going to talk about today, Sasha? We're going to talk about tires. Tires, indeed. Here we are, yes. Let's talk about tires. Now, you just caught me in the middle of airing my tires back up again. I've got the jolly old 12 volt air pump, cheapo from the local box store, plugged in my mid-mounted 12 volt outlet socket. Turn on. There you go. As I'm one-handed with a camera, I won't show you how it's done, but you know, I'm just airing the tires up. Okay, so a mini tire review, that's what this is all about, I suppose, of the Avon Trekrider. Did I get that right? Yes, I do. I keep calling them Trek Masters, but that's the old nomenclature. These are Trekriders. And what do I think? Well, they are fairly chunky. The back one bears more than a passing resemblance to a tractor tyre, and I'm very familiar with tractor tyres. Yeah, that's fairly deep tread, 10mm if you measure it in the right spot, in the middle of the chevron, which is what Avon claim. And the front one is not quite so knobbly. Tread goes the other way to offer bite when you're braking and resistance to rolling. Now then, the tread depth on this is not as deep as the back, 6mm. Maximum tread in the middle, considerably less just there. I can just about lay my little finger into the grooves, and at the back, no problem laying my little finger in all the way. It's fine. Okay, so initial impressions at the road pressure, which is what Enfield recommend. Sorry, 32 front, 32 rear. Took this out on the gravel, and it was not that much better than the Seats. The front felt like you were rolling on ball bearings a little. The back felt okay, not 100% secure. So I was mildly disappointed with that. I didn't have time again to go back out and ride that night, so the next evening I went out and I knocked the pressure down to 25 front, 27 rear, and that made a considerable difference. The tyres, the bike handled a lot better at those pressures. Once you get up to 50 kilometers an hour, the bike seems to steady itself, and the steering seems to be quite positive. It does waver a little, but nowhere near as much as it did with the Seats. But then again, the Seats were at road pressures of 32 pounds. Once you get up to that 50 kilometers an hour and above, the gyroscopic effect of the wheels seems to take over, and that steadies the bike out. You know, you just keep a light grip on the bars, the bike stays upright and seems to find its own way through the gravel. Not a problem. The back is very, very planted. It feels very solid. The front always will feel a little wavy on gravel. Nothing much you can do about it, but it's probably one of the best bikes I've ridden on gravel as a road bike. I'm not including dirt bikes in this, but as a road bike, it's pretty darn good. I remember how bad my V-Strom 1000 used to be on gravel. It was not very nice at all, but that was a much heavier bike with a 19-inch front wheel. This is a 21, obviously. Yeah, so I ran her a fair ways. Took her up to about 80 kilometers an hour, and didn't want to go above that because of all the four-legged wildlife that was hopping into the road. and trucks coming the other way, pickup trucks coming the other way, holiday weekend. Chances are that some of the drivers will be full of beer, so discretion being the better part of valor, I didn't go any faster, and there really was no need to go any faster. Above that speed, you've got to concentrate so hard on the road that you're not really enjoying your ride and the scenery. But yeah, she tracked nice and steady, 50 kilometers an hour, 50 to 70, absolute dream, no bother at all. The front tyre was finding its way through the gravel, and I was getting the odd rock hit me on the foot, so I knew that that tread is digging its way into the gravel. Better than I expected. I thought I might have to go to a more knobby type of tyre. I was thinking about the Dunlop Trail Max Raid, which I thought looked a fairly meaty tyre, but a little bit more expensive than these, and I could get a front, but I couldn't get a rear locally. And as we're waiting so long for carriers to bring tyres up to us up north while the post office and their workers are undergoing negotiations, I just took what I could get basically. And the Avons, they're about $100 cheaper than a Dunlop combination, and Heidenau's and the Mitas is about the same. Although the Heidenau's and the Mitas have a reputation for very hard sidewalls. And if I had to do a major puncture repair on the road involving a patch, an internal patch, I didn't want to have to deal with hard sidewalls. These are tubeless, obviously, from the rim. You can see the spokes are outboard of the rim, and they're very good. But that front wasn't too bad. The back was quite hard to mount with levers. It needed 3 hands, and I suggest that if you do take it upon yourself to consider a roadside repair with a tube, sometimes you have to have a tube if you've got a badly damaged tyre or rim, that you take long levers with you. The short stubby 8-inch levers are not going to be good enough. I used my 16-inch levers on these. And what I'll do is, I think the ones I've got I think I've got 2 12s and a little stubby one. I'm going to substitute the little stubby one for a longer lever so that I carry 3 levers on the road. I find it's much easier to change tyres with 3. So that's a tip. Yeah, getting back to the tyres. Now, how do they perform? Well, in the dry, excellent. At road pressures, these tyres handle pretty much the same as the Seats, which is very good. They maybe a little harsher ride, maybe, but very sure-footed. You can throw it into corners without any worries. It's just like a regular road tyre. They don't make a lot of noise either, like a knobbly would. So very well behaved there. On tarmac in the wet, same story. No complaints whatsoever, just like a road tyre. You got to bear in mind that these tyres were developed not for the Himalayan, they were developed for larger adventure bikes. So that front tyre is a V-rated tyre, which I think is 148 mile an hour tyre. The back is a T, I think, which is, I can't remember now, 120, 130 mile an hour. So this Himalayan is not going to test these tyres, because I mean, yeah, you might get 100 mile an hour out of it, but not sustained. So these tyres are well capable of handling any road speed that this Himalayan can put out. Now, when it comes to gravel, yes, they're very good, as long as you air them down. Again, the Himi is not going to test these tyres to their limits, and so for gravel, wet and dry gravel, I've had it out in the rain, although we haven't had a tremendous amount of rain, but I have taken it on the wet gravel. The gravel was sort of 1 inch and down, with bigger chunks in it, you know, sort of 2 to 3 inch chunks in it every now and then. There were bare patches in the gravel where the clay was poking through, and other patches where sand was poking through. The clay was no bother. The bike sailed through it like it wasn't there, and of course sand, being sand, was a bit of a bastard. The bike instantly slowed down and started shaking its head. But nothing uncontrollable, and you just shove your weight back and ride it out, and that's exactly what she did. Again, the gyroscopic effect of the wheels having a big effect there. So all in all, I think these are good tyres. They may not be knobby enough for you if you do a lot of mud, but then again, to be successful in mud, the tyre has got to be very open, like a motocross racing tyre, be able to fling the mud out from the wheels. I think something like a Heidenau or a Mitas, with a V chevron tread, I don't think that they would do any better than these. I don't know what the wear is on these tyres, whether they're as long lasting as the Heidenau and the Mitases. So that might be a factor you want to consider, but I'll keep an eye on my mileage, and I'll let you know what they do. I must say I do like Avon tyres, always have done. I don't think Avon put out a bad product. Or maybe they did back in the day with the Skidmasters, but I think even the Skidmasters are better nowadays with more compliant rubber in them. I'd put Skidmasters on my bike, my modern bikes, not my modern bikes, but my rebuilt bikes, without any worries. Yeah, I like Avons. Just what they're going to be like now they're making them in France, I don't know, but time will tell. Yeah, so that's good. Other little things on the bike, you can tell I've been riding in gravel. The wheels are dirty. Chain oiler seems to be working okay. Chain is wet enough anyway, and the guard, my homemade guard, seems to be keeping the oil from being sprayed up the tyre and the back of the bike. Obviously a little bit's getting past it, but not an awful lot. So a chain oiler is quite a worthwhile thing to do. I think you can see it better now that I've taken the guard off. So we've just got the clear hose coming down, going onto an old welding tip, which I've made a bracket for. It's just pointing at the chain. Very, very simple. And here's my little store of chain oil, which at the moment is chainsaw guide bar oil. Seems to work alright. It's a summer grade. No complaints really. I could equally chuck gear oil in or mix it with gear oil, it doesn't really matter. So that's that. Chain and tyres. Tyres are good. My initial misgivings about the front tyre were mistaken. This front tyre seems to perform well in gravel. Can't complain, and performs very well on tarmac. Virtually the same as the Seats. I've got no other parameters to judge this bike by. The general consensus opinion is the Seats are pretty good, and I do concur. So until next time, a big thumbs up from me for the tyres. It's goodbye from the Himi. It's goodbye from Sasha the Himalayan dog. Say goodbye, folks. Goodbye, folks. Have a biscuit. So until next time, keep your rubbery bits down, your shiny bits up. Take care of yourselves, look after one another. Don't do anything I wouldn't enjoy, and don't get caught. Bye bye.